Just talk about
For Miss Lyn Strong.
Hi, guys. How's everybody doing? This is my hometown. Hi.
Well, we've got to show you the best kind of welcome back that we possibly can.
Seriously.
How many conventions have you done since people started doing conventions
This
again?
is only my second. Yeah, I did my first last weekend in San Antonio, which was great. And this is my second, and it's been nice. I missed you guys. You know, like, as you know, voiceover people aren't really anything without their fans, and Comic-Cons are like the best way to give back, you know? I really missed connecting with everyone. So even though we're masked up, it's still nice to feel all your energy, and I hope you feel that love back. You guys look great. I'm so happy to see you. I'm happy to be here.
We appreciate everybody doing so great with their masking and everything. That's the whole reason that we're out here and able to do all of this, and also dealing with the weird series of regulations that we've got to deal with, thanks to the various different things that are keeping us safe. So thank you, everybody, for that. I want to say thank you on behalf of a lot of us out here who look up to you as many of our heroes, some of our anti-heroes. Who were some of your heroes, coming up? One of mine is somebody that you got to work with, Jodie Benson. The Little Mermaid is a really special movie.
No, me too. Like, whenever people say, what was your favorite job, I always say The Little Mermaid too, because I loved Jodie Benson so much, and I used to run around impersonating her. And when I got to, like, sing with her in the studio, I totally fangirled. I, like, burst into tears when I shook her hand. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I've just loved you for so long." And, like, not many people get to say they got to sing in a studio with Jodie Benson, who, I don't know if have you guys met her? She's the nicest woman in the world, too. So that was a real treat. Yeah, she was one of mine, too.
What are some of the things that you love the most? You have done so many different roles, different types of roles. What is it that excites you the most? Is it when you have the opportunity to sing? Is it getting to play something that is a particularly big challenge? What is it that you love about getting in the booth and doing the work?
First of all, like, I still get excited when I book every job. So, you know, I worked with Stan Lee not long before he passed, and I said, "What is your secret?" Because he looked amazing at like 94 or whatever he was. And he said, "Never retire and get paid to do what you love." And I think that's really important. And also, I understand, like, very lucky. How lucky are we that we get paid to do what we love? So I still get excited about every single job. I had a lot of fun shooting Pretty Hard Cases. Anybody see that out here? Wasn't that fun, like, to see me as a drug dealer? So that was really fun. And every time I get into the studio to do some Harley Quinn, that's my therapy, man. That's my therapy. So that's always fun. And, you know, any of the jobs I do are fun. I look forward to all of it. I really do. I know, like, that sounds silly, but I'm just so lucky. Like, I really get to play with my friends. I'm sure you guys have met other voiceover artists. They're like the kindest folks in the world and so talented. And so when you're in the booth with them every day or getting to hang out with them on Zoom or whatever, I'm impressed by what they can do every single day.
I'm going to ask one more question. Do you guys have questions out there? You have questions out there? Okay, great. I'm going to get one more in, because then the rest of the thing is all of you guys. You guys get to do my job. Sound good? I love that, not having to do much. There are so many different people that you've worked with. Granted, recently, group recording is not something that anybody's been doing. But when you're in those group recording sessions, who are some of the people that make your job the hardest? By ad-libbing, making you laugh, just making the work almost a little bit too fun. Who are the worst offenders, or are maybe you one of them?
I mean, I can definitely get into trouble. Greg Sipes and I probably are the most problematic in recording sessions. And have you guys watched The Ship It Show? He's just so dumb. And he never knows anything. And it happens in recordings, too. Like, it'll be everyone knows it's their turn to speak, and Greg's, like, off in La La Land, and then I start laughing. He's like, "What? Couldn't find my page, mama." And it's like, "Oh, dude, you have the easiest part. Just say your line when it's your line." But, yeah, we have fun. He's fun.
All right, let's see those hands. Who's got a question? Who's got a question? Who's got a question? My friend right here. What's your name? Magical person in yellow. Yes. Oh, is the mic on? This is why we test things. Hello?
Looks like you guys are going to have to interpretive dance your questions.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to dance back.
Okay, here's my answer.
Tell you what, do we have anybody up here near the front? Here, if you're able, here, come up. You're wearing exactly the right kind of hoodie. I like that hoodie. Come on, come here.
So my question is, have you ever watched the new My Little Pony movie, A New Generation, before?
I haven't seen it. Have you guys seen it? Is it good? Okay, good. I haven't seen it, but I will. I want to check that out for sure. It's good? Okay, I just watched Squid Game, which is really different.
You could say very different than My Little Pony.
It's really
You have
different.
very diverse interests, Tara.
It's really different than My Little Pony.
All right.
We should do a Squid Game My Little Pony version. Uh-oh, someone's drawing that right now and it's going on the internet.
Oh.
Red light, green light with
Hi.
all the ponies.
What was your favorite scene to film in the Powerpuff Girls as Bubbles?
I have so many great memories of recording Powerpuff Girls, and we laughed so hard. Talk about getting in trouble. Like, E.G. Daly and I would get in a lot of trouble. We would, be very naughty, and, we'd make up different lyrics for the theme song during sessions, like, Bubbles, she has an itchy bum bum. We would do stuff like that. And, probably my favorite episode was when we got to record the love song, because it was just so cute. It's just such a cute episode, and I think that song is so special, and I have a lot of good memories of filming that musical episode. And the feature was fun, too. We had to say tag 4,000 times. Tag, 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 tag. Yeah, like that.
All right, take two with the microphone. Let's get your name.
Tasheen.
Tasheen?
Tasheen.
Tasheen. Let's hear it for Tasheen, everybody.
Yay!
All right, let's see those hands. How about right over there?
Okay, just a question about Miss Minutes. I mean, for God's sake, man, Miss Minutes scared the living hell out of me. What was it like doing a character like that?
Isn't she the best jump scare ever?
Seriously, dude, I literally jumped out of my seat when I saw that scene.
It was so funny. Somebody posted a meme on the internet and it said, "Tell me the scariest villain in the MCU," and someone put Thanos, and then it was no, the scariest, and then it was someone else, and then the last one was Miss Minutes, hey y'all, and yep, that's it. I actually didn't know what I was auditioning for when I first read for Loki, and it's really important for them to keep everything top secret, and I didn't get a lot of information in the audition, so I recorded one a little more like Siri, and then one a little bit less like that, and then one with the accent, and I didn't even know exactly what it was until I was on the Zoom with Kate Herron and the rest of the MCU team. And I was lucky because it's already been done, so I actually got to act off Hiddleston and all the other actors that were already done. For them, they didn't know what I was going to sound like, so they're working with a prop, but I got to see
And they had
everything
an assistant
they
director
did.
on the side going, and
Yeah.
then blah, 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 blah.
So it was really cool. And then on top of that, I didn't know that the show was going to be that big, and I honestly think it's my favorite Marvel TV series ever, right? I love when they have enough support to bring imagination to life like that, and it was so beautiful, the juxtaposition of the old and the new technologies. And then I had no idea that people would fall in love with Miss Minutes, and it was so amazing, and I'm so grateful to all of you for loving her, because you never know. Here's this animated character, we don't know her backstory, she's jumping into a very beloved universe, and people are like, oh my God, we love her right away, so I'm so happy, and it's this gift that keeps on giving that I didn't know I ordered, so thank you for loving her. She's really fun.
I tell you, no kidding, when that first appearance of Miss Minutes happened, I went, who is this? This person is Tara Strong good, and then the credits roll, and I went, well, I obviously know my voice.
Yeah,
actors.
it was really fun because I wasn't allowed to say it was me until after the first episode aired. But once they dropped the trailer, the internet knew, and they started freaking out, which was really fun. So anyway, that's fun.
Who else has a question? Who? Right here in the front.
Do you have any advice for young actors trying to get into the field?
First of all, you have a really cute voice. So that's good. I always tell people to take as many acting classes as you can because it is acting. Some people say, oh, I have a good voice, but is it just reading? Of course, no. To be successful in this career, you have to really be able to envision all the moments in your mind and then bring that forth with your gift. So I always tell people to take scene study and improv. Improv's very important because a lot of times you'll be in the studio and they'll say, hey, can you do this character and that character? And you want to be able to jump in without any fear. And when you've done enough of that and you feel confident, you can take an acting class with a voiceover person that actually casts shows or that's actually worked a lot, and just be really careful of scammers because there's a lot of that out there and I really hate that. Like there's some websites that charge people to audition. Don't ever do that. That's such a scam. And there's nobody in my world that got there because they paid to audition. After you make a demo, you get an agent and you give them money only when you make money. They take a percentage. It's negotiated for them. So everybody who's a hopeful here, just like raise your hand and promise me you won't pay to audition.
All right, raise your hands.
It's just gross. I don't like people taking advantage of hopefuls. I just don't like it. Also, D. Baker has a free website. I think it's so you want to be a voice actor.
I want to be a voice actor.com.
Yeah, so you can check that out too.
On that same note, something that I heard, coming up was, doing community theater, whatever. But doing community theater is something that I found was one of the most important things that I got to do because I was getting to play with people that they were in it for the same reason that I was. They just wanted to get up and perform and do something. What were some of the early performance experiences that you had that you feel like made you feel like this was something that you could do?
Well, I always did theater and TV and grew up out here, and I did like the Yiddish theater when I was 13, and then I did the Music Man at the Limelight Dinner Theater. Is that even still here? Does anybody know? Limelight Dinner Theater? I don't know. Anyway, everything you do in acting goes into your bag of tricks, goes into your experiences, and they're all, completely vital for performance, and they all go into who you are as a performer. So it's all important, and it's all great. And it all matters, and it all helps with your confidence, for sure.
Great question, Steven Universe. Who we got? Go for it. Pick anybody.
Me? Oh yeah. You might know my question is sort of a personal one for myself. Do you know of the Bionicle films? Because they feature voice actors which have worked with you on My Little Pony, such as Tabitha St. Germain, Rarity, of course, who also voices Toa Nokama in 2 films of the series, which were almost 20 years ago.
Wow. Well, if Tabitha was in that, they probably taped that in Vancouver. But I wouldn't say no if they asked me to do that, if they would do another one.
Who else has a question? That Miss Minute shirt is irresistible. Come on. You wore the right shirt.
Sorry. Okay, good. Perfect. When I talk to Marvel people a lot, and I always want to ask them about the secrecy and such, you kind of touched on that, but I'm also kind of curious as to whether or not, like, what the typical secrecy level is for when you're just doing regular cartoon work as well, or just video game work, and like, what was kind of the difference, or has there any been any similar experiences to that? Sorry, sometimes I mess up my words.
Don't say sorry. You don't want to go get pruned for saying sorry too much. I would say that Marvel is similar to DC when you're doing something top secret. Like if I'm doing a video game, which I am right now for Warner Brothers, it comes in my schedule, like emailed from my agent with a code name. And we have to be very secretive. Any show you do, you're really not supposed to talk about it before it's aired and before the network gives you permission to speak on it, because they have all kinds of like ideas for promoting the show and then saying, oh, by the way, so-and-so's on this show. And so you sort of have to honor their PR process. But it's for sure the most top secret MCU and then DC. Probably MCU the most so far that I've ever done. But you really have to be careful and honor what the studios want. I know people that have gotten in some trouble for pre-tweeting.
You never know who might be a secret agent on behalf of Marvel and DC out there.
Wait, do you guys want me to give you
watching.
spoilers for second season Loki? Tara Strong fired from the MCU. Just kidding.
On that same note, actually, doing video games especially, there's a long production timeline for those things, and often you're one of the first things that actually gets laid down and gets done. How much time are you having to sit on these enormous secrets on average?
I mean, a long time, and I've been doing a video game for DC right now that's taken over a year to record. And often they'll add things to the game, so a game can take years to work on. So, yeah. Secrecy, usually within the year, you can tell, unless it's not finished yet, right? Yeah. Once it gets ready to go.
Who else? Who else? Running around the side.
Is that floor cold on your bums? Yeah, sorry about that. Should we make up a warm bum song? Because bums, bums, bums. Sorry, you have a question. I was making up a bum song.
That's the theme of the night.
Whatever.
All right. Hi. So you were pretty awesome as Tiggy Sullivan on Pretty Hard Cases.
Right! Thank you.
And you described her as if Harley were a mom.
Kind of, right?
Yeah. What was that like in channeling your inner Harley Quinn?
Well, it's just, the similarities were that in the beginning of Harley's world, she was an abused woman. And over the years, she's come into her own power and decided she doesn't need a man to get the stuff done. And so did Tiggy, and also would do anything for love. And Tiggy would do anything for the love of her children. So that's where I make the comparison, also because she's kind of a bad guy. But P.S., it's always fun to play the bad guy, really fun. And the writing on that show was so good that every time a new script came, I would just text the creators and writers and say, oh my God, this script is so good and I'm so excited I get to do this. But I also drew inspiration from Griselda Blanco, who was one of the first female drug lords. And I was watching stuff about her life, and she was the same. She would do anything for her children. It's such a fascinating character. I feel really lucky that I got to dive into that. It's a very challenging, but it's an actor's dream to play that kind of part. It was really fun.
She walked right by you.
Sorry.
We'll get to you, don't worry.
Nope, no we won't. Never.
I would like to know what character you voiced is what, out of all the characters you voiced, which one you like voice acting the best?
Well, like I said, I always say my favorite job was Melody, but when it comes to characters that I do regularly, it's very hard to pick a favorite. But I do love doing Harley, and I also really love doing Raven. I feel like Raven is so important to so many people, and who she is and her magic gets people through really hard times. And I feel very connected to that character. And when I meet people at cons that say, oh my God, I was totally alone till I met Raven, or I thought I was the only person like this. They do it for Twilight too. They're both very special. But I have a lot of fun doing Titans because we've been together as a cast for 20 years. So it's really fun. It's not that common that you get to do a voice with the same cast for 20 years. So it's really fun to do Teen Titans.
Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? The anticipation's killing me.
Hi, Spider-Man.
Nice to meet you, Spider-Man.
Now we know who you are.
I have a couple questions for you, if that's okay. Two. First one, it might be a little early, but can you tell us if you are returning for Loki Season 2?
I actually can't tell you, because then I'd have to prune you. So sorry.
Fine. And second question, you told us about your best character, but out of all the characters you voiced, which one have you liked the least?
Oh, which character have I liked the least? That's a good question. Maybe Terrence from Foster's Home. He was so mean. He was the meanest character I've ever played. He was just a jerk all the time. Who wants to hang out with Terrence, right? Oh, you do? Okay.
Terrence doesn't seem like
maybe
he's fun at
he's
parties.
changed. Maybe he's changed. Maybe he matured. He was always loser. He was always like that. Always. Probably.
Who's next? Who's next?
So Raven is definitely one of my favorite characters that you voiced. So, what was your favorite line to voice as her?
I mean, I gotta say the spell's pretty magical. Also, Evil Beware, we have waffles. It's pretty fun to say. You guys want to do an Azarath with me? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Azarath, Metreon, Zinthos. You guys could do way better. Are we gonna try this again? Okay, ready? Azarath, Metreon, Zinthos. Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, you can't really be loud with Raven, so I get it. Whatever.
Who's next? Who's next? Who's next?
I'll just hold it. What was the auditioning process like for Harley Quinn?
So I had been doing Batgirl alongside Mark Hamill, you know that guy, and Kevin Conroy and Arlene Sorkin for many years, and so they knew who I was. And for the very first video game, they decided they wanted to go in a different direction and brought me in. And I was playing around with the inspiration that is Harley, which is Arlene. It was created for her. And then they wanted me to make it my own. So it was very like a collaborative session, audition session with Colette Sunderman, the director, and sort of coming up with our own version of Harley in that moment, which they seemed to like. And then I was very nervous about the audience loving her because we all love Arlene so much. So I'm very grateful that people like my version too. It's not her, it's just inspired by her. And she's wonderful. And she's been wonderful in press. Like, she's like, if anyone had to take over Harley, I'd want it to be Tara, which I thought was very sweet. Because it's hard to let go of a role you've been doing a while. It is.
Okay, I have an out of nowhere question because no one talks about it. What was it like voicing Margaret Moonlight?
Margaret Moonlight?
Uh-oh.
No More Heroes 2.
Oh no, I don't remember. This is what happens when
Refresh
you're
your
as
memory.
famous as me?
When you're a woman of 1,000 voices.
I don't remember. I'm so sorry.
Remind us a little bit. What's the character like?
She is a scythe wielder that is also a gun that's a lolly, and it's very dark, and I'm not going to talk about No More Heroes with kids here.
Okay, I'll look it up. Come see me tomorrow if you're here. I'll look it up, and then
What's
I'll
it
tell
like
you
when you're handed a role that, you know, is a character that you're not familiar with or something, and it's like, all right, she has a scythe, that's a gun, that's also an axe, that's also, you know, something that vaporizes people. What is it like just having that handed to you as here? This is what the
It's
thing
really
is.
just like any other job, which is I have to become that character. So I don't think, oh, I'm getting another part. I think, oh, who is she? And how does she breathe? And how does she talk? And how does she see the world? And how do people see her? And then I just imagine all the moments that I'm reading. So that's my process, but everybody has their own.
Okay, who we got next? Over here.
Hi. How fun was it to do Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go? Because I know that you guys wanted to do more of like the classic Teen Titans show again.
I know, we'd really be happy if there was a season 6, but we also do love doing Go. And like we make jokes that we would do Titans on Ice because we're so happy to be together. And when we got to do the crossover, it was really fun. And when they animated us, like the actors on the show, that was fun. You know, Raven is like probably the only one who vocally doesn't change too much, although she's probably super bored with the Teen Titans Go people, but it was fun. And the writers are super hilarious on Go. And the way they put it all together was pretty clever.
You, right here, she's been incredibly patient, waving that hand. Enthusiasm wins the day every day.
Hi. Oh, that's weird. I just quickly wanted to say, like, thank you for everything, because you were my childhood, like,
Aw.
Bubbles, and, like, I love you so
Aw,
much.
thank you.
It's so nice to be able to ask you a question. But my question is, do you ever, like, accidentally slip into a character? And if so, who would that be most of the time? Like, and like accidentally, not on purpose.
Well, I do funny voices all the time. Like my good friends and children, like they know I'm always going to break into a voice, which can be helpful. Like, if someone owes you money, it's always good to go to Bubbles because you can't be mean. Like,
Can I please have the money back you owe me? That would be hardcore.
right? You can't say no to Bubbles, so you know. Or like telemarketers. I don't know. Then I get really creative. But I do always slip into crazy voices all the time. And a lot of them have different advice for me in my head. You know the voices that talk to you in your head? Mine are very opinionated. Yep.
I can only imagine getting a call from Tara Strong at a customer service line and needing to get something done for Tara Strong.
Yeah. So a lot of people recognize my voice. They get kind of excited when I'm like doing something with, you know, customer service.
Who's next? Who's next? Who's next?
What was it like traveling with your kids during COVID?
Well, my kids came with me for pretty hard cases because my younger son was in the show with me as well. And it was COVID, so their school was online. So what a great opportunity for them to be where mom grew up. And we were very isolated. It was one of the first shows that went up working during the height of the pandemic. And so we are and have been very, very careful. And I really love if there is a blessing in COVID, which is like the most horrible tragedy ever. It's been so detrimental to so many people. But I will say the only positive is getting to spend time with family and pets and people that you love. And we've really loved our time together. We've been doing like arts and crafts and just getting to be together. I feel very grateful that they're with me for sure.
Who's next? Who's next? We've got, I think, about 10 minutes left. So I think we should be able to get to most everybody, if not everybody. Go for it.
Obviously, you're known for characters like Raven, Twilight, Harley Quinn, but are there any other characters who you voiced who you think are a bit underappreciated?
You know, I don't know about underappreciated, but I feel like Symbionic Titan should have been picked up for another 10 seasons. Also, Chowder. Like, it's not that these voices weren't appreciated, I just feel like the shows weren't appreciated, and they should have been, like Chowder, they should have got 10 seasons before Nikki's voice changed. It was like the best show ever. And Symbionic Titan I thought was so brilliant. Anything Gendy Tartakovsky does is pretty brilliant anyway. Underrated shows for sure, Rocky and Bullwinkle. It's genius. Have you guys seen that show? If you haven't, I highly recommend you check it out on Amazon. It's a brilliant show that nobody watched. Like, all the voices on it are so good. And it's so funny and so well animated. Really fun songs. It's like a beautiful show.
Who else has a question? A hand being held up by another hand. That's a new one.
Hi. First of all, I just want to say thank you, just because, like, with the pandemic and everything, just like watching old shows from my childhood and all those things just really get you through sometimes. And my question is, do you ever just like go through a drive-through and just decide to like pick like a weird name or a weird voice just to go see in people's reactions?
I have done that before. I was going to do that last week with my kids in the car, and they said no, but I think it'd be fun, right?
Yeah, I think your kids should get vetoed.
Yeah,
It sounds like a great time.
I
with
wish
Mom.
you'd give me a venti oat milk hazelnut latte.
Just like see what they do. That'd be kind of fun. Maybe I'll start doing it more. I don't go to drive-thrus that much, though. You know, I'm vegan and healthy, and it's really just Starbucks.
How did you start voice acting?
Well, I started when I was 13, and I knew I wanted to be an actress when I was 4 or 5 years old. And my first job was here. It was Hello Kitty, and Cree Summer was in that show with me, so was Tabitha St. Germain. And I didn't know that was going to be like mostly what I did in my career. And when I was in Canada, I had a pretty well-rounded career. I was doing TV and film and theater. And then when I went to LA, and then I booked Powerpuff Girls and Batgirl and 100 episodes of 101 Dalmatians. Do you guys remember that show? Yeah. So it's like, I think people were like, who's this girl? And this is something that she does really well. So I got really lucky because if I only relied on camera, I wouldn't have as big of a career. It's pretty special to have this niche career. I feel very lucky.
Who else? Who else? Who else?
If you could be teleported into any of the shows that you've voice acted for, which one would it be?
Good question. And I get to choose my character? I mean, I guess I gotta be Raven. It'd be pretty cool to fly around and mess some stuff up, you know. That'd be pretty fun.
Got about 5 minutes left. I think we can get some more questions in here.
Good questions today.
I really liked your work on My Little Pony. It's like one of my favorite shows. How did like voice acting change after like COVID, like after like the 13th month?
Oh, good question. She asked how voice acting changed during COVID. The nice thing about voice actors is if you were already set and you had a home studio, it really is the only leg of the entertainment business that didn't miss a beat. They, you know, maybe there was a week or two off, and then it was like, we got to get these shows done. And if we already were set up with a home studio, we could keep working. Probably the biggest changes are that they're mostly not full cast records, although Titans we do still as a full cast. You don't have to drive anywhere. That's fun. I don't mind not having to drive, especially LA and Toronto are both pretty bad traffic-wise. So, yeah, it changed tremendously. We used to be together in the studios, and we're not anymore, which kind of sucks. It's more fun to play with the other actors. And also, so much of acting is listening. So if another actor goes, we got to get out of here, you might go, okay. And if you don't know how the actor is going to do that, you don't get as much creativity. It's much more fun to be in the playground with the other kids, for sure.
I think we got time for 2 more. Who wants it the most? We'll do some.
You can always
some Squid
come
Game
see
stuff.
me at my table and ask questions too.
Hi, Tara. This is my first con, so.
Wow, welcome to the Weirdos.
What's your name?
Welcome.
Z-Roy.
Let's hear it for him.
Yay!
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you because you played you were most of my childhood, to be honest, and Raven was my favorite as well, but I'm sure you've heard that a lot.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, there he is.
So my question is, what do you wish you were asked more about?
What do I wish I was asked more about? Oh, well, that's a good question. What do I wish?
I wish I was asked more about
how to go vegan. I know. It's such a bummer if you don't want to. I just love animals so much. I love them so much. I'm trying to save them all. I wish people asked more about that.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to ask you something.
Yeah.
Something I love about vegan food is
Yeah.
that it is radically more diverse, radically more flavorful and delicious and everything. What do you think is the easiest way for somebody who is vegan curious to look at vegan food through a different lens? It's not just, here, it's,
Well, I think so I knew I didn't want to eat animals when I was little, when I knew what it was. And when I was a kid, there really wasn't a lot of great choices. There's like, oh, let me have some more steamed broccoli and some popcorn. But now there's so many great options. Toronto, by the way, has incredible vegan restaurants. And also every grocery store has vegan options, which are not more expensive. People often think it's too expensive, and it's actually not. Obviously, vegetables and beans and stuff is cheaper than a steak, right? So I'd say to not be afraid of it, and there's so many great websites, and to not be afraid of not getting enough protein. And there is something to be said for when when you see the videos of animals that are suffering, it's very hard, and people don't want to give it up because it's like a habit, and it's been how people have eaten for a long time. So I get that, and I don't really want to pressure people or bully people.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be thermonuclear war.
Right, but I just know that when you stop eating that sadness, there's something in your body that changes. And so I'd say try it for a few weeks. There's really good vegan cheeses now too, cream cheese and all. If there's some people can make a cheese plate so good you would not know that it didn't come from a cow's boob. So I don't know. I'm happy to talk to anyone if they have any questions, and I don't like when people get very aggressive, but I also understand wanting to save sentient creatures, because to someone who understands that, like a dog is the same as a pig, is the same as a cow. So anyway, does that make sense? Okay, good.
Good job. First comic convention and first question. Let's hear it for Leroy.
Yeah, good question.
There we go.
Thank you for
that. Okay, we got
that.
time for one more. Who wants it the most? Who has the best question? Who is going to absolutely kill it? Make me look like I don't know what I'm doing. Frankly, you guys do that all the time.
Also, who's going to try
Come
going
on.
vegan for a week now?
Yeah.
You can try.
Who's going to be our last question? This guy back in the back seems to want it the absolute most.
And don't be shy. Come to my table after.
Either that or he's actually Thor and he's calling down Mjolnir.
Oh, cool.
What's it like working with Andrea Romano?
Well, I really miss her because she's retired. We had a really, really good time doing Batman with her. She would do table reads, which are something that happens all the time on camera, but not all the time in voiceover, where we read the script together first to understand everything that's going on. She's a real actor's director. And what I mean by that is sometimes they'll hire someone that's never done any acting, or like one of the writers wants to try directing, and sometimes they can. Like when you look at a Butch Hartman, he writes, he draws, he acts in it, he can really do it all. But some people can't, and there's certain words that you use with actors. How many actors we have in the audience today? So like, you know, if someone says to you, oh, that wasn't good, or can you try it like this? Like, things can hurt your feelings. Actors are like super sensitive. So when an actor becomes a voice director or trains in directing and acting and knows how to get good performance out of actors, it's really, really important. And she's one of those. She's always supportive. She's very, very smart, and she really cares. She is absolutely one of my favorite voiceover directors to work with, for sure. Plus, she gave me Batgirl, so she can't be all bad. And Raven can't be all bad.
So to wrap things up, this is only your second convention back after a while away from doing these conventions. You've been over at your table for a little while today in your hometown.
In my hometown.
Is the vibe different, maybe a little bit sweeter in some way after being away from it for so long? You know, being out here and getting the kind of love that all of these wonderful people bring over to
listen,
you.
I prefer not COVID because it's hard not to hug everybody, and, you know, if you're taking a picture behind the glass, it's not as special. I think it's like important to get out again and be with people, so I'm very happy to be here. I don't know that it's sweeter. It's just nice to be back. And I'm happy that you guys are here. Thanks for coming.
If you're happy to see her here, let's hear it. Keep it going, keep it going. For Tara Strong, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
And you're here tomorrow and Sunday,
I'm
yes?
here tomorrow and Sunday. Yeah, come see me at my table for sure.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.